So in the last video, we saw how acetazolamide works as a diuretic. And the very last point that we discussed was why acetazolamide is a mild or weak diuretic. So if you recall, the excess sodium traveling to later part of the nephron is reabsorbed at all other sites, and thus net excretion of sodium is reduced to very less extent. By saying net excretion, I mean the total amount of sodium which is excreted through urine. So moving ahead with another class of diuretic, that is working at ascending limb of loop of Henle. So where is ascending limb of loop of Henle? We just go in this diagram. This is your ascending limb of loop of Henle, right? So what exactly happens at this ascending limb of loop of Henle? For this, you need to recall one more thing, that at ascending limb of loop of Henle, water is not reabsorbed and it is only solute which is getting reabsorbed. So this loop of Henle, this part of nephron is responsible for 25% sodium reabsorption. And major transporter which is playing role here is sodium potassium 2-chloride symporter. All of you have to recall, when I say symporter, there are two types of transporters when they are transporting multiple substances across any membrane. One is antiporter and one is symporter. Antiporter is both the substances are moving in opposite direction. Symporter, both the substances, both or howsoever, like here we have three, sodium, potassium and chloride. All these three are moving in the same direction. So do you recall, have we discussed any antiporter till now? Yes, we have. You recall this? Sodium, that is Na plus, H plus antiporter. So coming back here, again understand, this is your lumen. This is a cell which is lining your lumen. This is a luminal side and this is a basolateral side. So sodium, potassium, that is Na plus, K plus, 2Cl minus symporter is present at the luminal side at ascending limb of loop of Henle. Okay, what it is doing? It is taking sodium outside the lumen, potassium outside the lumen, and 2 chloride ions outside the lumen. So 2 positives are moving out, 2 negatives are moving out. So net charge remains the same because of this. But it is not the only transporter present here. You have sodium potassium ATPase, which is antiporter. As I told you, it is present everywhere. 3 sodiums out, 2 potassium in, right? Plus what you have is, you have potassium ion channels, which are leakage type of ion channels. For this, you will have to remember, when you learnt neuron or nervous system as a chapter, we had discussed there are 4 types of ion channels. One is ligand gated ion channels. Second, voltage gated ion channels. Third, mechanically gated ion channels. And fourth is leakage channels. So leakage channels works on the principle, which principle? From higher concentration, the electrolyte moves in a region of lower concentration. So here I have shown that potassium is concentrated inside the cell and it is moving from cell to lumen. Why is it happening so? Again concentrate here. Sodium, potassium, 2 chloride. Sodium from luminal side moves in the cell, goes out. So it is not concentrated in the cell. Chloride moves in the cell, goes out. There are channels, there are transporters. Okay. What about potassium? It is coming inside the cell from lumen, but also from outside, because sodium has to go out. So lot of potassium is coming here and getting concentrated here. This potassium finds its way in the lumen via leakage channels. So what is happening? Though here we say two positives are going, two negatives are going. So because there is no net charge difference, but because positively charged potassium is coming inside the part of the lumen, okay, this region, luminal side of the cells become positively charged because of excess of potassium. As a result, what happens? Okay, now this we are discussing normal physiology. As a result, what happens? As like sodium is coming, potassium is coming from proximal convoluted tubule, lot of magnesium and calcium also is coming. Magnesium positively charged, calcium positively charged. They come till this point. And because positive here and positive here, they are repelled. And they do not enter in this region. Okay. This positive does not allow this positive to enter the cell. Okay. Because of this, what happens? Magnesium and calcium leaves the lumen. Okay. So they are getting reabsorbed from the paracellular species. Okay. So all this tells you that at ascending limb of loop of Henle, if things are working very much normally, potassium is coming in the lumen at the expense of sodium. Okay, this is a transporter present, and because potassium is present here, this is positively charged, and reabsorption of magnesium and calcium is happening here. Okay. So this is a story at normal circumstances of ascending limb of loop of Henle. Can I do something here? Remember this asterisk. So now, there is drug which is called as furosemide. 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 What it does? It inhibits sodium potassium 2 chloride symporter. My dear students, what will happen? Very first consequence that should come to your mind. It is inhibiting this, right? So nothing will leave the lumen. What won't leave? Sodium, potassium and fluoride. They will remain confined in the lumen. They will be trapped inside the lumen, right? So inhibition of sodium, potassium 2 chloride symporter will not allow sodium, potassium and 2 chloride ions to leave the lumen. So more sodium, more potassium and more chloride moves to distal part of the nephron. And till here what has happened? Whatever sodium, potassium, 2 chloride, majorly sodium, is entering, is going in the latter part of the nephron, very less compensatory mechanism is available to take it back. So whatever now escapes the ascending limb of loop of Henle is not going to get reabsorbed back. And because of that, whatever escapes, almost everything is excreted. And that makes furosemide a very strong diuretic. So why furosemide is a very strong diuretic? Because there are less compensatory mechanisms available for reabsorption of sodium, which escapes reabsorption at ascending limb of loop of Henle. You can note this down. Okay. Second effect. What is happening? Sodium symporter is inhibited. So less sodium enters the cell, less potassium enters the cell, and chloride remains in the lumen. What is happening? Because chloride is remaining in the lumen, there is less electropositivity in the lumen. So less calcium is reabsorbed, right? Remember, recall. There was lot of positivity here. Calcium was coming. Because of this positivity, the calcium gets afraid because it is also positive and leaves. Or it feels it is already so much positivity here, I should not contribute more. But when this is inhibited, the calcium feels, oh my god, there is a lot of negativity here. Let me go ahead. And thus the calcium remains in the lumen and goes in the distal part, and lot of calcium is excreted out. So here less calcium, okay, is reabsorbed, more calcium is excreted out. What can be the outcome, students? Calcium is not reabsorbed. So this calcium is excreted out. That can lead to osteoporosis. So chronic use of furosemide, which is called as, which is a very strong diuretic, can lead to osteoporosis in many patients. Okay. Secondly, what it can be used for? Of course, it will be used as a diuretic, but where else? Suppose a person is suffering from hypercalcemia, wherein because of some genetic defect, okay, there is less calcium excretion from the body. So I need to treat it. I need to treat this condition, right? How do I treat it? Can I treat it with furosemide? Yes, of course, because furosemide is increasing the excretion of calcium. So moral of the story is, if a person is showing tendency of accumulation of calcium in the body, you can treat it with low dose of furosemide. But this has to be coupled with normal saline. Why? Because here what is going to happen is, not only calcium excretion will increase, but all other electrolytes and water can be lost to very high extent. Remember, it is a strong diuretic. Patient will suffer from dehydration. It should not happen. So for that, when you are giving patient furosemide, to excrete out more and more calcium, you need to give normal saline to maintain the fluid and electrolyte balance of the body. So here we end with furosemide, which is a very strong diuretic. I hope you have understood this. If you have any questions, you can post the questions. Thank you.